Alright guys, so this is another fanfiction idea, and this one isn't so much a remake like the other two ones, but this one is more of it's more of a sequel to an idea I had previously called the Dark Trinity. It actually was brought back in a Patreon request. But yeah, so the Dark Trinity is this little idea I have of Lord Dominator from Wander Over Yonder, Toffee from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls, and the three of them go on have like these lost hidden adventures, quote unquote, where they all work together way before the events of their respective shows, and the three of them went on various schemes together in order to acquire and amass more power for their own future endeavors. So it's kind of like like I said, like a bunch of lost adventures that are all brought together from these three very iconic Disney TV villains. And this one is called the Dark Crystal. And if you think you know where it's going, yes, we are going to involve a certain show. Like we are going to involve, well, not so much a show, but a certain universe in this. So in this story, what has happened is that basically what has happened here is that the trio previously had gone to... I totally lost myself, I'm sorry. The three had gone to Carcosa to meet Hastur, the King in Yellow, and that really fucked them up. That really, it fucked up the three of them, and they went their separate ways. So it isn't until later that Bill is the one to come calling to the two, to both Toffee and Dominator. Toffee at this point he and the other Septarans are knee deep in a bloody war with the Mumins, and we are getting closer to when Toffee finally kills Star's grandmother. Like, we are getting closer to that. Like, we are months away from that moment where Toffee kills her. Meanwhile, Dominator is moving closer and closer to the galaxy that will get her, make her encounter both Lord Hater and Wander, and that will lead to the events there. So essentially, we're kind of like bridging the gap slowly. Now, Bill has contacted them, and they're like, why do you need us? Like, we went to Carcosa. It really fucked us up. We saw some shit, and it wasn't fun. Like, that's how they kind of walked away from it. It was like, we saw some serious shit, and we don't want to do that again. And that was more or less like the whole thing, was that they just they agreed, we'll just go our separate ways. But Bill actually is like, no, I got an idea. I got like a straight up really good idea. It's gonna work. And I think you'll all like it. So Bill pitches that there is another power source that they can each draw from, and that is on a world called Thra. And Thra has a world power source known only as the Dark Crystal, the heart of Thra. And Bill more or less kind of talks out like, this thing is immense power. It can give us it could each give us what we need to get us over the hump. Like, Toffee, you can finally kill the Mumins, the Mumin royal family. Dominator, your ship and your robots will be unstoppable. And they're like, and what do you get out of this, Bill? Like, what of all things? Like, what do you, Bill Cipher, what does the great Bill Cipher get out of this? Out of all of this? And Bill goes, me? Oh, I get enough power to, commit Weird Mageddon without any sort of gateway or anything that old Ford stole from me. So that's the plan. However, Bill also reveals that I can get us to Thra, but when we're there, the Dark Crystal's energy is gonna limit my powers. So I'm just gonna and the longer we stay there, the more its effects are gonna like the world's effect, and the Dominator goes, wait a minute. So if it's gonna eliminate it, if it's going to null your powers, why do you want it? And Bill explains that like once he gets it off Thra, the crystal's energy will be inert, and therefore he can twist it to he can twist the energy however he wants it to be. He just needs to get. That's why he's like, I would have gone myself, but the problem is that the longer I was there, the more that power, more I felt my power being sapped from me. So I need to get it off the world. Therefore, its energy is going to be inert, and I can just twist it however I want it to be. But I kind of need backup. And Dominator's, in other words, you need bodyguards. And he's like, yep. And I really like you guys. And they're like, fine, fuck it. So the three of them unite once more. Bill opens a portal to Thra, but their disturbance and their entrance doesn't go unnoticed, because what happens is Ogra has sensed it. Like Ogra has sensed their transgression into Thra, and she's immediately like, fuck. Even not only that, but the Mystics have too, and this crystal has alerted the Skeksis. So they all collectively realize that, like, oh, shit, they're here. Like, we have some unwanted guests here. And if you're wondering where we are in continuity, if you're wondering where in continuity we are for this story in Dark Crystal wise, I would say like this is the massive time gap between Age of Resistance, R.I.P., great show, and the movie. So we're in that huge gap. The Gelfling are gone, and the Skeksis are dying off. The Skeksis are getting older, and so are the Mystics. And it's just more or less just coming down to we are getting closer to the movie. But the Skeksis are like, they're here for the crystal. Like, we don't know where these strangers came from, but, you know, it's imperative we keep them away from our power. So they summon their warriors, and the Mystics actually make contact with the Skeksis. And are like, we know we all, like, you must join us one day, but we have to join forces because these are outside forces from another world. So let's put aside our differences for just a little bit, and maybe we can pool our power enough to get these to send these three monsters away. But doesn't like the Skeksis are like, fuck off, and the Mystics are like, okay, we wanted to help, just to let you know, we wanted to help you. So from there, Toffee, Bill, and Dominator all traverse the world of Thra, fighting and killing their way through several monsters. Like, they fight their way through several monsters and others. They even Toffee actually sees what the Skeksis have done, and he's like, you know, it's just another ruling class over a group of other people. And to which the Dominator's like, okay, time out, babe. What were you gonna do to the Mumins after, like, let's say you win your war. Like, let's throw everything on the table. What was gonna happen after you, like, let's say you win the war? What was gonna happen to the Mumins? And he's like, I was going to deliver justice. He's like, no. I'll tell you what your justice is. Your justice was going to be, you were going to enslave them and make them second-class citizens like they did you. You see, it's not, you don't care about this whole, deep down, like, you say, like, you're some great freedom fighter and warrior for the monster people, when really, you're just as bad as me and Bill. You keep saying, like, you keep having this aura of, like, you think you're better than us. But here's the thing. You are no better than either of us. In fact, I think you're worse because you're hiding your true intentions. So, Toffee's like, you're wrong. And I ally with you, and he says, like, yeah, why do you keep coming, or like, Bill's like, yeah, why do you, if that's the case, why do you keep hanging around with people who are clearly upfront with their evil? And Toffee responds with, because you make good allies. And he's like, and Bill's like, or maybe we just make you look better because we know what's going to happen when you win, if you win this war. He's like, we're not here for that. Let's get the crystal and go. So they fight and kill their way through into the depths of and find their way to the crystal. And that's where Bill's like really having trouble with his power. And he's like, we gotta move it, and I can start working on it. But Ogra arrives and is like, look, you cannot take the crystal. You'll destroy the world. And she appeals to Toffee first and foremost. And Toffee's like, if you kill, like, are you willing to kill one world to save yours? And he's like, yeah, I'm actually very at peace with it. Because he's like, it's not my world. And from there, the three of them try to move it, try to take it, but the crystal reacts and actually shows them each their own defeats. And they're like, fuck. And it really, like, it just fucks them up. That's when the Skeksis arrive, and the Emperor, who is very old at this point, tries to strike down Bill. Toffee engages him in fight and mortally wounds him, thus leading him to just be bedridden for the remainder of his days. The Dark Crystal, actually reacts and actually shows Toffee the moment he's going to lose his finger, and from there, Dominator is shown her the loss she's going to have, as well as Bill. However, when they depart, it's like, well, we just had the same thing happen to us, like with Haster. But then Toffee reminds them, it showed us our endings, but but we can bounce. The thing is, it showed us that we live. Like, that's the thing. Like, even points out to Bill, you cast your spell to say you were going to survive. We don't die. And they're like, and you're like, you saw yourself die. And he's like, I'll be like, correction, I die, you two live. So we'll find a way to come back, because that's what we are. We're not villains, we're survivors. And that's the story. So there you go, guys. There's your Dark Trinity story. Hope you all enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of it, and maybe I'll do another story of the Dark Trinity. I like using these characters together. Anyway, so once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.